quotes out of this book by Dr. Mary Ann McNeilis, M.D., God's Healing Way. And she was stressing many good points about health and healing, the 8 laws of health. And she's saying Christ's rule of life is, whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, Matthew 7:12. This golden rule is the essence of our service for others. And when we think about doing charcoal poultices, we think about serving others. Teaching and healing with God's approved methods is a vital part of service for others. And He sent them to preach the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. So we want to be helpful. I mean, I have many people come by my house and say, "Oh, the bee stung me. Can I come and get some charcoal?" Fine. You know, it's not any hard thing to do about getting charcoal. And so it's good to know these things and be able to help each other. Our last meeting will be next week, and that's Tuesday the 30th. And I'm looking forward to hearing Bev Donahue, because she has a master's in counseling, and she is going to talk about home remedies for depression. And so I'm looking forward to that. Tonight, we want to explore charcoal. And many old-fashioned remedies are going out of fashion. Play on words there, you know. Not because they're ineffective, but it's because art is required for their management, and sufficient degree of labor is required that most people are unwilling to provide. Every private home should have charcoal on hand as a ready antidote for poisoning and as a cleansing agent in infections and various metabolic disturbances. Oral administered charcoal is effective in preventing many intestinal infections. All studies show that charcoal is harmless when ingested, when inhaled, and when it comes in contact with the skin. And this is quoted from the book by Thrash and Thrash on home remedies. And they have an extensive section in this book that describes the use of charcoal. So we see that charcoal is derived from incomplete combustion of many plant products. They use hardwoods. They use eucalyptus wood. Eucalyptus wood is one of the best. They use coconut shells, and many commercial products and processes use the charcoal from coconut shells. And bone can be made into charcoal, and the sugar industry uses much bone type of charcoal. We have a history of charcoal, and in some of the papyruses from Egypt, they date back as far as 1550 BC. And even Hippocrates mentioned the wood chars used in treating various ailments, treating them with charcoal. In 1773, Shirley described an experiment with charcoal, and in this experiment used charcoal, gas, and mercury, and was making a statement of what it would accomplish. Turey in 1831 survived after swallowing 15 grams of strychnine and then taking an equal amount of charcoal. He was proving a point. I don't know if I would be that courageous, but he was saying charcoal works, and it does work. Then the activation process that we are accustomed to seeing on our bottles, it will say activated. That means it was under a controlled cylinder of burning, so it didn't burn up, but it would burn under control of no oxygen and a certain control of heat, so that they could get a very fine product. And so most all of the charcoal now is activated. And we learned when we listened to Mr. McClintock Thursday night that he recommends the USP label saying that it is medicinal grade. Charcoal's adsorptive properties. You notice they changed the letter in that word and make it an adsorbing. It has much more capacity than just absorbing. We can stick our bread in some water and it will absorb some of the water in there. But adsorbing means that there are myriads of micropores, the walls of which have much surface area. In fact, it can be 400 to 1,800 square meters per gram. It's phenomenal. The amount of surface area is in that little black powdery charcoal. And this is described in the book Get Well at Home by Richard A. Hansen, M.D. He has a nice section in there on charcoal. Well, what about burnt toast and charcoal bricks? Tell me no. No, it does not. It does not do much. The charcoal bricks anyway, they have, chemicals put on those things, so that is not a good thing. Poisons can be adsorbed by this charcoal, and some of those are DDT, strychnine, malthion, and parathion. The industry uses charcoal in many of its processes, and even gas masks have charcoal filters in them to make them collect all the bad gases that hopefully none of we ever get in contact with. Some drugs that are adsorbed by the charcoal is aspirin, barbiturates, cocaine, opium, nicotine, morphine, penicillins, and sulfas. Some inorganic substances are like mercury, phosphorus, chlorine, iron, lead, and silver. Now, when we deal with poisons, some poisonous product, ideally we want them to have vomiting as well as inactivation with charcoal. And this should be early in the treatment, within just minutes or hours, not even hours, but within minutes after it's ingested. Sometimes they give the syrup ipecac and apomorphine to stimulate vomiting, but it's shown that this type of stimulation of vomiting only brings up about 30% of the poison in the stomach. So more oral charcoal is needed. Now what happens if you have some kind of strong solutions like lye? You don't want to cause vomiting, because that would cause damage coming back out. So it needs a neutralizing agent, if you know what it was that they ingested, like vinegar, then charcoal would be used. And then the reverse for caustic acids would be the baking soda and then charcoal. But guess what? It's not effective against alcohol intoxication. Really? You know why? Why? Because the alcohol goes into the system so fast, and by the time you by the time you see the symptoms of intoxication, it's through the body. So it's not really effective in reversing that. Charcoal on the skin is very good. Can be used in open and closed wounds. Which one would give you a tattoo effect if you put the charcoal on too liberally? Open. Yes, the open wound. You could get tattooed and that would not come out. So that's why we want to show you how to contain the charcoal so that it works but does not get where you don't want it. Charcoal is good for bad breath, intestinal gas, colostomies and ileostomies, diarrhea, and indigestion. Now, it's not only helpful to take it orally, but if they have some clients for an ileostomy or colostomy, then they could just put tablets in those collection bags, and it will reduce odor. Can be used on the eye, on the ears, and of course, again, you want it very well contained, and so that it will do its work without getting all over the place. Charcoal is in powder. I think I go through a can of powder like this. Sometimes it takes a year or two. Just depends on how many people come and ask for help. And then tablets. I don't keep tablets very much at all. Do you know why?
They're not very effective.
Huh?
They aren't very effective?
They're not as effective. Because you have to have a filler. You have to have a filler that will pack it together into a tablet form. And so I do keep a few of them. And sometimes people that have maybe a canker sore or something in their mouth, it's easier to hold a tablet. But you just have to use more of them. Then capsules. And capsules are good to have along because, it's just easier to put this in a sealed bag of some kind and take it with you when you travel. Although I usually travel with powder also.
What about if you're taking medication?
Pardon me?
What about if you have to use medication?
Yes, there are a lot of medications that it will interfere with.
It just takes them out with everything else, doesn't it?
This is why you stagger the timing of taking charcoal. We just got through saying that it will absorb antibiotics and a lot of other medications. But you take the charcoal 2 to 3 hours or in between the time that you would take a medication.
What about time release?
Well, you may be in a problem there. Yeah, you would have to go to the outside poultices or something.
Yeah, or if you're on medication, it has to be continuous.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I like this is clay in here. I don't know how much clay interferes with medication, but clay will adsorb also. But I don't see it written up as much as with charcoal. In flatulence and abdominal distension, we treat it with charcoal, 4 capsules or 8 tablets, as often as 3 or 4 times a day. If the person has indigestion and peptic ulcers and some gastrointestinal distress, especially upper, they then sometimes will get the best benefit so that they're not irritated. You would just put the charcoal in the glass and then carefully add a little water. And then I'm going to add some water here. I'm adding it very carefully. This was about a tablespoon of charcoal. I really wasn't measuring it. I want to see it settle out, and because they are saying that once it settles out and the clear or liquid up here, it won't be as irritating. If somebody has really an irritated stomach, and if they have a good gag reflex, they may not tolerate just drinking this now.
So the charcoal water would be better, still do a lot of good, better than the slurry, the actual slurry.
Yes, the slurry, and I'm just going to let it sit here now a while and see what it looks like. And so it still has good properties there. It's just not as concentrated. But because you have to develop a knack of just swallowing. It doesn't have any taste, but it has a texture there.
Wouldn't it be just as well to take a capsule?
It doesn't. Capsules work pretty quick, but the quickest way is to have it in solution. And another problem with taking capsules, can you tell me what a problem is? They don't take enough water quite often. And so that's the thing you want. You want all that water there, and it can really bathe the area of the intestine and do its absorbing. Question?
Let's say you said it would help with gas. Did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's say I wanted to consume a lot of cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli.
Yeah.
Now, would the use of charcoal prevent the absorption of food?
It does not prevent the absorption of food. Now, I'm not sure about, the food molecules seem to not be attracted there. It's the ones that are concentrated. It says in the literature that it will absorb iron. So what kind of iron? It's not the iron that's in your food. It must be the kind of iron that is in the commercial vitamins and things. So if you're going to take commercial vitamins, I think it's best to not take them anywhere near the time that you would be taking charcoal.
I'm just thinking about eating a lot of broccoli, or
That's okay.
cauliflower, and finding. If I can have a lot of that and have charcoal with it, how much do you think ought to do the trick?
Probably 4 capsules, a tablespoon in a glass of water. I wouldn't want to overdo the thing.
Okay.
I'd like to see the least amount that would work. Anybody have experience?
No, but I'm saying, are you saying that it is not going to absorb your vitamins and minerals from your food? Only
Yes.
Okay, so that was always a concern of mine. Oh, don't take the charcoal unless you really have to because it absorbs all the good stuff.
It's not been saying that in any of this literature.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's the more the kinds that we commercially put together that are more at risk than the ones that are in the foods. That's what I'm getting from the literature. Okay. I said about the 4 capsules to 8 tablets, 3 to 4 times a day, and I said that. said something about the slurry. Okay, the fixing, somebody has their lights on. The door is locked on RGT 497. It's a station wagon Toyota that has the lights on. Now, is that a vehicle that the lights go off?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Somebody have this station wagon Toyota? What kind of car is she?
Toyota.
Okay.
Station wagon Toyota.
Oh, all right. Maybe it's something else. Okay, we want to start talking about, any more questions about the use or non-use, okay?
So you're calling that charcoal with the water a slurry? Is that what you say a slurry is?
Well, this is the full deal here. And I'm waiting to see, time we get done, I'm hoping that we will see what the slurry is. I mean, this isn't a...
Oh, so that isn't a slurry yet.
Well, I'd call it a slurry, but we want the slurry that's clear to show you that it is still a therapeutic way of getting charcoal when it settles out. And you just carefully pour off or drink the slurry. It's not as gritty. You know what I'm saying? If you drink this right now, you're going to get the full gritty. Of course, I'd rather have the full gritty effect and get the good benefit. So, I'm trying to see which should I do next. One more. I think I'll mention and start these around that you can use other kinds of plants. I mentioned that you can use clay, and you can use the aloe vera on the skin. Remember, Bill, when we were taking care of his aunt, and she had such paper skin. She never developed any bed sores or anything, but we had to be so careful just moving her arms because her skin would just peel off. Then Bill started taking one of these. We had huge aloe veras at that time. And he would take one and just split it. Being careful not to get any green, because the green part will burn. And so, but all that gel, when we peel that back, we just lay that on that arm, bandage it in place, and 3 or 4 days, at least a week, it was healed up. We were so amazed at what this would do. It has the healing properties in that aloe vera gel. And many people like the healing properties of the aloe vera and take it and for their gastrointestinal tract.
Now, what does it do for the gastrointestinal tract?
The aloe vera?
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely. It's so soothing and healing to the gastrointestinal tract.
But that doesn't tell me anything. It's soothing and healing, What do I need healed? For what? Gas or?
Yeah, just irritable bowel from diarrhea.
Diverticulitis, all those.
Yes, the irritations that
Anything with gastrointestinal. Any irritation or discomfort or problem, it'll soothe it and heal it.
Yes. People that have ulcerative colitis quite often take this every day. I mean, they don't get it commercially. They don't. It's a mess to try to fix it and drink it.
Would that be in the liquid form?
It would be in the liquid form.
Yeah.
Yes. So and you're seeing commercially, they're selling you bottles of pure aloe vera that made it gel. And you can
always
put it on your
wonder
skin.
how.
What?
You always wonder how pure that is, even though they say it's safe it is.
Yes.
I mean, I guess I'm a doubter on.
They'd have to put some kind of binder in there to make it gel. But when I read the bottle, I thought, well, it sounds pretty good. And, okay.
If you want to try it, Walmart near their pharmacy there has the Best Buy that I found.
The price is right,
And
isn't
the
it?
price is very right, and as far as I can see, the quality was very good. And it's quite tolerable, very.
Uh-huh. Yes, I have used it in years past when I felt a lot of irritation.
What if we take away wrinkles?
Not going to worry about that.
Well, I think the world judges you superficially.
Try to get this open. Eucalyptus is used with a lot of, I don't know. Anyway, if you want to smell eucalyptus, I love to smell it, especially when you're congested and get some steam going. You can reduce the congestion. Okay, I have another product, and I am not going to get it open, I don't think. This is pure pine pitch. And pure pine pitch is antiseptic and healing to skin lesions. And somebody over here maybe can open it up, I don't know. It's very sticky, and it sealed it really good. Okay.
Where do you get pine pitch?
We bought that through a private organization that I had seen them advertise that they, and I don't remember, I've had it so long, I don't remember where they were, to tell you the truth. This is clove bud, and you can put this on your gum and tooth that is hurting.
The pine pitch, they do have Paul and Andy's, which is, yes, they do. And that same company also has the liquid.
Okay, so they must deal with it.
They're not handling the liquid there, but I remember when it first came in and they had a sample and you could dip it and put some on. But Paul is that
Same,
it is.
pine pitch, yes. P-A-V-E, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it's expensive, but it works.
Yes, very concentrated.
When you use this one.
Clove.
Well, we use it for athlete split, for one thing, fungus of the feet.
Did you open it?
And you can put it on your skin. It's very, very good for clearing up anything on your skin.
Are you saying pine pitch?
No, this is the pine, this is pure pine pitch. It's expensive.
So you put it right on the source?
Yeah, you can put it right on there. But you see, the woodsmen, you know, the people that logged and did all the kinds of things in the woods, they had found out that this pine pitch worked. And when they got some kind of wound out in the woods, they would apply this and just take it off the tree, you know, and put it on themselves.
I think it's the white pine.
Is it white pine?
Yeah.
I don't remember which. You can also make poultices of figs. Figs can be used for inflamed skin, infected skin. Garlic can be used. I'm going to tell you, you can smell you coming when you use garlic. And my husband has been trying it on his athlete's foot, and I'm thinking, woo! It's strong stuff. Golden seal can be used on the skin for inflamed places. And hops and slippery elm. Okay. Now I want you to come back and start talking about this. Maybe I don't need my glasses.
For your honey poultices, how do you keep it confined? I hear people talking about putting poultices in water. How do you keep that separate?
That's why you have all this mess on your table. Don't just throw it away. You're going to figure out how to confine this poultice, and I'm getting ready to do one. And I want to do a jar of it. Because when you put poultice together, if you just do it with just charcoal, it's going to be runny. You know, it doesn't have any binding, stick-togetherness. I mean, it's just going to go where you put it. And so I'm going to put some in here. And then I have clay. This is my favorite. And it really doesn't take quite as much filler, I don't think, with clay as it does with the
Flaxseed.
huh?
Flaxseed.
Yeah, flaxseed. Because you can use this, you can put cold water in here, and the clay will start holding the water really quick. And flaxseed, you pretty much have to use hot water. So this is what I want you to do in these paper cups. So I'm going to put a little bit of.
So how much clay?
Pardon me?
How much clay?
I did about 1/3 as much as I did charcoal.
Okay.
So
I
put too much water in.
Charcoal.
Pardon me?
1/3 clay compared to charcoal.
Very helpful.
It doesn't pay to talk and do this at the same time because I got too much water. Okay?
More clay in.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do another one now. And I'm going to do the flaxseed. This is ground flaxseed. This is the whole flaxseed. You have to grind it. And so it's about this equal amount. Now, let's see if I can get, and I'm putting I want to put warm water with the flaxseed because the flaxseed will gel quicker. See if I can get less water. It's still got too much.
What is that?
It'll take a minute.
Is that the clay mixed with it?
No, this has got the flaxseed mixed.
Oh, I thought you said flaxseed.
Yes. Oh, it's doing it. It's gelling up now. Let's see. See, it's getting going.
Can you tell us again what you got in that?
This has got the charcoal, about a tablespoon of charcoal, and about a tablespoon of flaxseed that's ground. It's setting up very nicely. But
So a tablespoon of
where's
water.
my other one?
What is it?
Equal.
Right there near your pot. To the other side.
Oh,
Right there.
thank you.
And that's flaxseed powder.
Okay, so now this one, since I got too much water in it, I'm going to add a little more charcoal and a little more clay.
So where do you get the clay?
I got this about 15 years ago at a health food store that was going out of business. I got 2 of these containers of clay, and I have gone through one of them, and now this one's probably about half gone. This clay came from someone that bought a big bag of clay. They got it from some of the pottery people, but they look for a good grade of clay. And so, because she did poultices, I don't mean poultices, she did fomentation type of application. In other words, she needed this clay with just the amount of water that was needed, and it was just like a pancake. And then she would apply that to her back. It has absorbing capacity also. So now I'm trying to rectify my mistake here.
So you don't have clay in this?
Yeah, this one has clay.
What does that do?
This is going to be the healing poultice. You have an infection, some kind of inflamed spot that's...
Now, would you put it on a person warm?
It depends. Sometimes you use it warm, and sometimes you use it cold. I can remember one time, well, I don't remember if he had a felon. Bill had, you know, you could get these little tears in this, by the cuticle. And then another time he shot water in his finger from some kind of pressure hose.
Can I explain that?
Okay.
Well, I had a high-powered painter, and it was something like 3,200 pounds of pressure. And if I had the painter in my hands now, I could do a ceiling like this from down here. I could paint the ceiling straight. Anyway, I was painting the outside of this big automobile building, and I painted it white and got done with it, and I was cleaning the nozzle, and I wanted to run water through it, and the only water I had was, I found some in a bucket that had mosquito larvae and all kinds of other junk, and I was running that through, and I was cleaning the nozzle, and somehow I hit the trigger. And the water went right into this finger, and it would have went through the other side, but it hit the bone. And it puffed up the finger clear to here with water. And I finished cleaning and put the things in my van. And so when I was driving to the next job to, this man, his house got on fire. And so his ceiling in his house was gone, and the rafters and everything were all black, and he wanted me to paint over them so it wouldn't have that smoke smell. So I shot the paint this way and that way and every which way, but going there, I was squeezing this hand, and the water was coming out of this hole, and I just kept squeezing it. And anyway, when I got home that night, I told Don about it, and we just wrapped it in charcoal, and we didn't pay any attention to the opening, but we kept wrapping it in charcoal, and it just pulled, so to speak, the germs out of that finger, and I didn't even have to go to the doctor. So I say this, that when you've got charcoal in the home, it's like having a doctor.
Well, at one time, I don't know what, we bandaged you and worked on his fingers for different reasons. But one time, the next morning, usually the pain goes away within just a few hours. But this time, he was awake in the morning and saying, "This thing hurts." So I looked at his finger, looked at it, and I thought, he's got so much tough skin. It's just not communicating down there where it's at. So I went to the refrigerator, got a lemon, and bored a hole in the lemon, and then stuck his finger in the lemon. Well, that was nice and cold, that set him up. He said, "Yowie, that's going to do something." But just letting it soak with the lemon soften the skin. So then, after a while, then I put charcoal back on, and then it works. Right? Okay. Another thing that we use, and on your handout, Dr. McNeilis, in her book, she gave such a good formula there on, when and how much, because most of these poison kinds of things she had you soaking the area in a charcoal solution. Then after a while you finally would go to a poultice. But the solution is the immediate thing to do for the bites, the poisons, and so forth. So a couple years ago, Bill showed me his foot. He said, there's something wrong with my foot. And I said, boy, you can say that again. It's something wrong with your foot. I said, it looks to me like you got a brown recluse spider bite. And the immediate bite doesn't forewarn someone that that's a possibility of what's going on. But just because it had this black center, now it was black before I started the charcoal, and then the red inflamed area around it was acting just like a black, what did I say? Brown recluse. And so charcoal did it, and I'm going to pass around this picture that it took care of it. I was a little bit worried, thinking that maybe we hadn't caught it soon enough. But boy, did I ever pile on the charcoal. And changing it frequently. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to see my foot. And anyway, I got the bite apparently on a Friday night at home, back there in Indiana. No, here.
It was here. We were living here.
And anyway, so the weekend we with Mr. Kendo, we went over to Country Haven. And that spring, it was in springtime, there was graduation coming up in a few days, and so we wanted to spruce up the campus. So we went over there and had church service, then we went out fishing, and we go fishing with literature. And then Sunday, I ran a mower, and it was hurting pretty good then. And I ran that mower all around the campus, cutting the grass and so forth, and then came back Sunday night, and then she started to treat it Monday. And it wouldn't have got as far as it did. It just made a hole right down into my foot. It wouldn't have got as far as it did if we could have treated it, like on Saturday. We had to wait, you might say, 3 days before we got to treating it. But still, once the charcoal was on there, it just pulled the poison out and healed it up nicely.
Okay, this is my clay and charcoal. It's a nice solution, and this is with the flaxseed. Now this isn't going to run out in your bed very well, I don't think. So yeah.
Another question: in this initial treatment where it says wash white area thoroughly. Now does that mean, and then I assume it's with water, but then it says charcoal bath.
Yes.
What's the ratio of water to charcoal in that bath?
Pretty thick. This is poisons.
Well,
so it should be probably a cup to about 3 cups of water.
Thank you.
So that you got solution and charcoal. I mean, you got to have a fair amount. Okay,
What about somebody that overdoses on antidepressants or something like that? Would charcoal help to revive them? Because I don't think they use that in the hospital.
No. The hospital uses a universal antidote for poisons. They don't
Usually
usually use
at
any.
the general hospital, when my daughter ate these mushrooms, they gave her charcoal.
Yeah.
Well, it was really disgusting because they were natural mushrooms, and I should never ever taken her to the hospital. I wasn't really against what I knew I should have done, you know. But they were.
It's okay. It's an honest mistake. I mean, you didn't.
But they were natural mushrooms, you know. And then she came home and started throwing up all over the kitchen. I looked at her and she never looked that terrible as she did that night. Because see, the charcoal didn't have to absorb anything, so it just because
charcoal does not usually make you sick. It's just the whole trauma situation, the whole
yeah. Well, before that, she had eaten a whole bag of cherry Ricola cough drops. She did that in the same day.
Oh, okay. I think she had an irritation problem down there.
But anyway, I was busy doing laundry and
okay.
It reminded me when I was in Kentucky, we did mushroom picking. And there's all types of mushrooms. And they're all natural out there, but there's poisonous ones. And so when you go mushroom pick, you gotta be careful, because I went there and they're telling ones I had to pick and make sure, because there was two. Then he was very good at telling, and there's two that are close. Unless you looked inside, you can tell the difference. And so in Kentucky, we gotta be careful.
But here in Walla Walla, they do have these natural mushrooms, you know. They're really easy, you know. People, there's too much hype involved in mushrooms, in the situation of mushrooms.
Well, I think we can live very well without mushrooms if we're going to be worried about it.
Mushrooms aren't that good for you.
Okay, we're going to treat root with spray. I'm going to use this charcoal and I like using these chucks because you can peel back the top and stick your solution and your poultice material inside here and then put it back over. And then you have a barrier between them and this black material. So we're going to see. Now let's see how much is coming through here. A little bit is coming through. So if we want to put a little bit of material around here, can you hand me a scissors?
Is she the patient?
She's my patient. Trace the rate. I didn't even know I did it. Okay. You know what? I can't make it hold on there. We'll put this there. Then we'll put this one on here. And now what? We can have it running down her elbow, or we can have it running out of all kinds of places. And so we're going to, I didn't leave myself any plastic. I'm going to give you part of your plastic here. Can you cut off? Okay. You hold it? Thank you. Get my patient to hold it here. Okay, we're going to contain it. We don't want it running down her hand or out her elbow. Now, let me hold that too. And now we don't use anything expensive. We use what works.
And we want to try that in modern medicine.
We just, I don't want to constrict her circulation.
Oh, okay.
Am I pinching you in here? And see, we're going to do it up here. And this tape is not too tissue friendly. In other words, it can stick too well and irritate your skin. So this is why we do it above. Now this one, very snug, you know, and if she had to cut it and retape it, it would be fine. Now let's look to see if maybe we should do another piece over here.
Now, we're going to get to see her when she gets well?
Okay.
Time-lapse.
Now, I want you to do a similar thing. I don't have enough extra cloth, but you all have some of these pieces of chuck, and you're going to pull back the little piece here, the top piece. Put your poultice material inside, and then put it onto somebody's arm, and I want you to do that to each other. I want you to get the feel.
And then she put more charcoal, but